Have you ever stopped to imagine what it would be like to see Anthony Volpe, the prodigy who carried on his shoulders the hopes of a generation, get released by the Yankees in the middle of a season that started with a promise of championship? Well, that scenario, which seemed impossible just a few months ago, now haunts every corner of Yankee Stadium. And if you live and breathe every rumor, every behind-the-scenes whisper, every mistake that turns into a headline, stay with me until the end, because this could be just the beginning of a not-so-happy twist for anyone wearing pinstripes. Ever since Volpe came up in 2023, he wasn't just another prospect. He was the face of a promise that mixed talent, charisma, and pinstripe DNA. That Gold Glove his first year made Yankees Nation dream big. Now it's happening, said the most optimistic fans. Finally, a homegrown shortstop who could become the new captain, or at least honor the massive shadow Derek Jeter left over this position. But reality, as baseball loves to remind us, can be cruel. And the numbers don't lie. A .219 batting average, a .296 on-base percentage, only 10 home runs in 89 games. For someone who carries the weight of keeping the shortstop tradition alive in the Bronx, that hurts. And it doesn't just hurt him. It hurts every fan who puts on the cap and jersey hoping everything will be better tomorrow. If that were all, it would already be heavy. But the defense, which was supposed to be the kid's big strength, has turned into a headache. According to Baseball Savant, Volpe already has -3 outs above average at the position and has committed 11 errors, putting him among the worst in baseball in that regard. And as if that wasn't enough, his speed, which should be a secret weapon, has become almost a joke. 9 stolen bases, but caught 7 times. It's like nothing clicks. And then there's the moment no one forgets. The throw between innings, a judgment error that ended up hitting Aaron Judge, the team's biggest star, the MVP, right in the face. It was a cold shower at a time when every detail could save or sink the season. By the way, real quick, fan, if you're here with me, it's because you lived every detail like it's a final in October. So go ahead and hit like, subscribe here to Yankees Daily News, and turn on the bell. We're not the official channel, but we live every rumor like we're inside the locker room, right next to Judge, hearing everything firsthand. Volpe could easily be just another kid developing in another franchise. But here, in the Bronx, there isn't that much patience. Jacob Mounts from Yard Barker got straight to the point. As disturbing as it sounds, yet another big Yankees prospect is failing to produce, becoming a problem both at the plate and in the field, and even injuring your team's MVP. And he goes further. Cutting Volpe now might be the only solution to break this slump that has already taken down a lead that once seemed untouchable. What was once a comfortable advantage in the American League East has turned into a nightmare. And the question hanging over the Bronx is, can they keep holding on to mistake after mistake, or is it time to say goodbye? To understand the size of this dilemma, we need to go back in time. The Yankees are a franchise that doesn't tolerate mediocrity. If there's a place where the pressure is as big as the expectations, it's the Bronx. History is full of examples of promising players who didn't work out here but blossomed elsewhere. And you, fan, know how much it hurts to see someone who was supposed to be the future shining in another jersey, lifting trophies in another city. Will Volpe be just another name on that list? Or would cutting him now protect the team from more damage? In the middle of all this, there's a clubhouse trying to survive. The pitching staff, which held it together in early June, is now falling apart for lack of support. The defense, which would be the wall, give away tight games. And then you have a kid who costs you on the field with visible mistakes, but who also weighs on the morale of the roster. How many close games were decided by a defensive blunder? How many pitchers walked away without a win because the defense couldn't hold the line? This isn't just statistics. It's psychological. It's confidence slipping away inning after inning. And if you were Brian Cashman, what would you do? Hold on to the kid, betting on an almost heroic turnaround, or push the emergency button before it's too late? Every game that goes by without an answer is another nail in the hope of seeing the Pinstripes dominate the American League East again. And the ones who suffer are the fans, who buy tickets, wear the cap, sit in the stands, and watch every play hoping that spark from his debut will shine again. You know what hurts the most? Thinking that if Volpe leaves, this story might not have a way back. What if he leaves, gains confidence, and explodes in another franchise? What if we're left watching from afar, remembering that it could have been different? These are questions nobody wants to answer, but everyone deep down knows could happen. So I want to know from you, fan, cut or hold. What's your decision? Do you believe Volpe deserves more time to prove he's worthy of being the shortstop at Yankee Stadium, or has he run out of chances? Answer here in the comments, because here no opinion is too small. Every voice counts, because what makes this franchise beat is us. It's not the front office. It's not just a roster. It's the entire Pinstripe Nation. And just when we thought the Anthony Volpe drama was already enough to become a nightmare, the Bronx shows it can always get worse. Because for anyone who thought the biggest worry was whether to cut or hold on to the kid who symbolizes a generation, now another open wound has appeared. The starting rotation is falling apart right when it can't afford a crack. Clarke Schmidt, the arm that carried consistency when everyone else started to waver, is now set to undergo Tommy John surgery. And anyone who knows baseball knows that surgery isn't just a little cut. It's a sentence of months away, a farewell to any short-term plan. Schmidt was delivering everything you expect from a reliable starter. A 3.32 ERA in 14 starts is the mark of someone who can handle pressure. He's the type of player who doesn't make much noise, but whose absence you feel the second he's gone from the mound. And that's where the hole gets deeper. Because it's not just losing Schmidt. It's losing Schmidt at a time when every mistake, every poorly placed hit, every run allowed feels like it's October already. And the ones who pay the price are the same fans who are still trying to figure out if Volpe is the future or the burden. You know what this shows? That being a Yankee has never been about comfort. It's living on the razor's edge all the time. While one part of Pinstripes Nation is divided between defending the kid at shortstop or calling for his head now, another part looks at the rotation and thinks, who's going to hold this down? Because reinforcing the mound now isn't a luxury. It's a matter of survival. If nothing is done, that playoff spot that seemed so guaranteed just weeks ago could become a mirage. But not everything is tragedy. There's still a flame burning. Even with this horrible stretch, the Yankees are still in a playoff position. And that changes everything. Because when you're in, you don't think about selling. When you're in, you're a buyer. And a Bronx buyer doesn't want a clearance sale. They want something big. A name that carries weight in the clubhouse. A story to tell 10 years from now. And that's where the rumor that's heating up comes in. Sandy Alcantara. Think about it. A former Cy Young winner. A guy who used to be a nightmare for hitters when he was at his peak. It's true. Today his numbers are ugly, an ERA above 7.01 in 17 games. For anyone who just looks at the spreadsheet, it sounds crazy. But for anyone who breathes baseball, who understands the behind the scenes, who knows what a Bronx pitching coach can do with that kind of talent, it's the kind of risk that can become legendary. Remember the names that came here written off and were reborn at Yankee Stadium? There's no shortage. Alcantara's contract also weighs in the balance. It's 5 years for $56 million, with a club option for 2027. For Miami, it makes sense to listen to offers now, before his value melts away for good. For the Yankees, it would mean giving up 2 prospects, Brock Selvage, a promising lefty, and Clarke Schmidt, a right-hander who's still raw but has potential. To bring in an arm that could anchor this rotation without Schmidt, is it risky? Yes, but when you're the Yankees, living without risk is not living at all. Zach Kaplan from Athlon was clear. Alcantara's price will never be this low again. And that's almost an invitation for Cashman to make a move. The problem is it worth it right now? Is it worth giving up 2 prospects who'd only be ready around 2026 to try to save a present that looks more fragile every week? And what if Alcantara doesn't return to form? What if, like Schmidt, he ends up back on the injured list? Who takes responsibility? Who explains that to fans? Meanwhile, back in the clubhouse, there's a question nobody has the courage to say out loud. How many mistakes will the Bronx swallow? The defense is failing. The offense is inconsistent. The rotation is falling apart. And every trade rumor turns into a soap opera that everyone wants to see the end of. And as much as we live by data and sabermetrics, there's one thing you can't measure in a spreadsheet: the psychological weight of being a Yankee. Imagine Alcantara arriving, still shaky, trying to prove that his 2022 Cy Young wasn't a fluke. That's pressure on his arm, on his mind, and on his heart. It's a bet that could become an epic headline, or a tragedy that turns into a meme for years. And if that weren't enough, the ghost of Volpe comes back in the middle of all this. Because every mistake he makes on the field now hurts twice as much. It stings on defense and stings a team's morale. A shortstop who doesn't inspire confidence is an open wound. A mound without stability is gasoline poured on that wound. And we know, when things start to go wrong in the Bronx, you either react like a legend or you become just another stat. That's why, fan, I want to know, do you believe in this trade? Would you give up Brock Selvage and Clarke Schmidt, 2 arms that could grow, for a Sandy Alcantara who needs to find himself again? Or would you hold on to the prospects and try to find another solution, even if it means risking being without a reliable starter until the end of the season? And more. Can you still believe Volpe can turn around, or is it time to say goodbye? These are questions nobody in the front office wants to answer alone. But here at Yankees Daily News, we answer together. Here, it's the Pinstripes Nation that calls the shots. So do this. Drop a comment below saying what you'd do if you were Cashman. Hit like, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell, because if this trade happens, or if any other bombshell explodes in the Bronx, you'll hear it here first. Because being a Yankee is this. It's suffering, it's doubting, it's believing, and when you least expect it, it's making history. See you in the next video. And don't forget, every rumor is just the beginning of a saga that nobody knows how it will end.